Melanie, I have become entranced by your music like the past like 4 days. You don't understand. I feel like I am Melanie MacLaren, basically. But thank you for the songwriting and the music that you're putting out there.
Oh, thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think it's very necessary and very beautiful. And like your little single, "The Gift" is, for example, that song is "Heaven Is." I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries.
That song really is about the gift of living, isn't it? Like the gift of like everyday situations, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's about, when people try and write about the afterlife, there's so much uncertainty, and we really can only understand and relate it to the context of things that we experience daily. So, when we try and think about what the idea of heaven is, we can't really conceptualize it, so we just relate it to what we have in our life, and I guess that's all it is then.
Yeah.
To us in our own conception of it.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt that like you're like just finding the beauty in everyday situations. The tears running down our cheeks, or like, the snowflake coming down, or pain, or the hot dog, or whatever it may be. And that everything can be like joyous if we put kind of like our mindset to it.
Exactly. I think, if we think about it, I think it's hard because I don't know if I'm naturally someone who thought that way or felt that way, but you kind of go through life and things make you that kind of person.
Yeah.
You have experiences, and then you realize how beautiful just the everyday.
Yeah. And we'll come back to that in a second. But, just talking about how much of a wordsmith you are. I mean, where did this come from? The fact that when you have beautiful lines, like, you're reading Sinead O'Connor on a beach, and then it gets wet, or the hot dog that when you're drunk, things that could be mundane for many people.
Yeah.
And yet you're able to find a universe of emotion in them.
Yes.
Like when you're a songwriter, an artist, like you like, where do you like, how do you do it? How do you make a universe out of these like situations?
Oh, I think a lot of the times, like, I remember things more when they're funny, and I kind of say that in a song. I think just these really funny images that stand out to me, the things I laugh about with my friends, or just things that feel really odd and vivid, are the things I remember.
Yeah.
So then they end up being the things that I write about.
Like the Baywatch clip too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just these little things, like, that's me. I want to be able to describe stuff earnestly and kind of like show and not tell,
Yeah.
And like just paint the scene, and then let people get whatever emotions they get from it.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. But like, explain this to me, because I'm not an artist.
Sure. Yeah.
So like when you're writing like a song, right, and you want to put like the line about, watching old Baywatch clips or something. Yeah. Is this something that you like have written down somewhere? Or like, because this is, I mean, this is very unique to you, and it's wonderful. It's really special. And then you just kind of bring out the notepad, or like, how does it work?
When I'm writing a song, I feel like I always start in the second verse or in the middle, because that's kind of, to me, like where the feeling is, and where the it is, and where the heart of like what the song is actually about.
Interesting.
And then I'll just zoom out and think about like, what are all these little things that I saw and experienced that made me get to that point.
Sure.
So I kind of will go in, maybe I'll just pick up my guitar and write what I'm feeling and what I feel like is the heart of it. Or like that line where things start to get momentum, and I can feel it in a lot of my songs, like which one that was, what turning point that was. And then I just have to like remind myself to zoom out and kind of show everyone else like how I got there.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even show them how I got there, like give them the opportunity to get there themselves.
Sure.
Through describing what I saw.
I mean, yeah, it's very cool, because it's very accessible, but it's also universal, but it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And you were talking earlier about some of the life experiences that you've had. And I know that, for example, Tourist EP came out after like a period of grief for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, as specific as you want to go or not. But I feel like it's so profound, the emotions that came out of you around that time.
Thank you so much. So Tourist came out. I was kind of, a lot of the songs I had written I had written them. So I had a close family member get really sick and pass away, and it was just, it's hard to talk about it more than to talk about it in songs. Just it's always such a hard thing to balance, like art and personal life. But I think, but all that is to say is about that period, even the period of illness, it's like this almost pre-grief that you have, and it just becomes everything you think about.
Yeah.
I think it's the thing, it's really all consuming. So even if you're trying to write about other stuff, and if you're like, okay, I'm sitting down to write a love song, like it kind of, everything kind of has that, like, all good stories end in death kind of mentality. Right. Because that's just like where your head is. So even if you're trying to set out to write something different, you're just on this loop of always thinking about, well, I have this, but it can go away, and it can be so fragile. So most of the first 4 songs I had written on that song were before the
life event.
Yeah, the life. And then I wrote Tourist after.
Yeah.
I wrote it for my nieces and nephews.
Sure.
And I feel like, you can write so many songs that feel like you're going to a really dark place.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I wanted to write something that could be helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's always the approach for a song about grief. Like, sometimes it is really necessary to go there and to kind of, really like dig into the despair of it. But it just, at that time, it just all felt so fresh, and I felt like I just wanted to write something that was comforting to me and to other people, and it just kind of felt like it had that I didn't want to have like a message, because I think sometimes that can be so detrimental. It's like we have these really difficult things happen to us, and we're just trying to spit it into some lesson or something positive. And I wasn't ready for that, but I just wanted to have something that felt.
Well, that's very interesting, and you did an incredible job at it. And like, as a songwriter, when you're going through like a period of grieving like that, because I've heard both sides of this. Yeah. Like I remember my friend Yola, she said that when she goes through, like, she when she go through a tragedy, it took her like a year to like be able to like put it on pen and paper. Yeah. As other people have said, oh no, like, through my tears, I started like scribbling. You know what I mean? Like, for you, kind of like, how long did it take for you to be able to like, kind of like go through it a little bit, and then kind of put some of those feelings into a song?
I think it kind of probably took a year. I think a year, I don't know that, but I think there was stuff that I was putting down immediately. There were things that I was writing. Obviously not the first couple weeks, because I think that's a luxury to have that time. Usually you're just dealing with the logistics of death, and of course people don't want to talk about that, but it's a lot of logistics, and you're trying to be there for other people, and you're trying to just take care of what you can take care of. Yeah. But I think the minute I had a little bit of silence at home, the minute I guess it's the minute I could start writing. Yeah. That was the topic I was writing about. Sure. I think that's kind of how it was for me. Is the minute, the everyday life stuff, it kind of, it quieted down for me, at least, and I could be with my thoughts, and I wasn't running from my thoughts. Sure. It becomes clear that that's all you can think about.
Absolutely, Melanie.
I think it's, I think now this year, I think I've been able to write about other topics. Yeah. But there's still, I don't know so much if it's catharsis. I don't know if it's like, I have to write about this because I'm feeling it, or if it's just what you're thinking about. Yeah. You're not thinking about anything else. I think that's more of it, Sure. I think it's more common to say you need to do it. Yeah. It's catharsis and it's emotional. And it is, but it's also just your brain is just, it's on a loop. It's like when, you're really into, a book you're reading, or you're really into a TV show which you just watched every episode in a week, you can't talk about anything else.
Absolutely.
It just sounds ridiculous.
So consuming, yeah.
Yeah, it's just something like that. It's just, this is the information that you're taking in, and you're not taking in anything else. And so you just talk about that, and you read about that.
Yeah.
You don't really have the brain space for
Absolutely.
stuff.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. And, as we pivot to another topic, I do want to say that, like, your music has a really special intangible to it. And there is that beautiful spirit of that person who is no longer with us here on earth is present in your art. And as you continue to grow your art, which is beautiful and is going to reach millions of people, you're honoring like the best attributes of this person.
Thank you.
Because I felt that. And I just want you to know that was felt.
I really, thank you. That's
of course.
a moving thing to say.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
When you started having success with like Kill My Time or all this good stuff,
Yeah.
I mean, my God, what a debut. And also, like the EP we just talked about. Tell me a little bit about, when you started kind of putting this out, and these are songs that you've worked on, kind of for all your life up to that point.
Yeah.
And you put them out and everyone loves them.
Oh my gosh,
It is just like, what's happening? That must have been an interesting period, right?
Yeah, I was truly shocked because I didn't really start writing music until after college. And
That's crazy.
I mean, I've always written, and as a kid, I would write like parodies and jingles and stuff, and I liked, I like words, and I would do that, but
Because you were classical, right? Like for the longest time.
I played classical guitar.
Right. Okay.
So I played classical guitar, and I like sang a little bit, but I was kind of always pushed to other things.
Yeah.
More sports focused, academics focused. Like just that was what my family knew.
Okay.
But I loved music. I just didn't really know. I could do it
For like a living. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at all. Even though it was, I was always just, listen to music.
You were not one of these like Nashville families that is like, oh, we were just playing banjo in Thanksgiving. Like, yeah, same. I was when I hear that, I'm like, wow. Yeah.
I'm so jealous of that.
Right.
I love it. No, I definitely had a lot of exposure and stuff to the arts, and would, go to a ton of concerts and theater. And parents were always playing music, but it just wasn't, I just didn't, and I just didn't know it was something I could do.
Sure.
I didn't even know necessarily it was something I wanted to do. Like my mom would have to make me practice guitar.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I always knew that I loved to I loved to write, and I loved to make people feel, and I think to make people laugh, to change people's minds and change their perspective on things, and just kind of like have fun with that. And I think it took a minute to understand like what medium I could use to do that most,
right,
the way that felt most genuine to me, and felt like all encompassing, versus sometimes just writing, there isn't this other dimension there's this like sonic dimension to it.
Sure.
That can also change how people feel.
Sure.
There's such a visual component to music too. Like there's so many different components to it. And the live aspect, the recorded aspect, I think it's just, I think just over time, I just realized like nothing moved me more than music.
Did you have a breakthrough moment? Like, were you like, were you like, I don't know, at a show somewhere, or like, in Venice, Italy, with a glass of wine, like where you're like, man, I should really like I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for this.
Kind of. It was the year after I had graduated college, and I was working as like a production assistant. I was living at home in New York, and I was doing production assistant stuff. And I was
for like TV and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like taking classes for improv and comedy writing. And
okay,
stuff.
Cool.
And it was really fun. And then I enjoyed it, and I so thought that was such a cool path to go down. And then one week I randomly just decided to visit my friend in Seattle. Outside of it, he was working at like a ski mountain thing, and I just went and stayed out there. And I just realized, number one, I didn't miss anything. I didn't miss anything in New York. I didn't miss my job. I didn't miss these classes for stuff that I was taking in and saying it was my passion. I didn't miss the fact that there was this dream, and I just we just drove around and listened to a bunch of music. And this is like my best friend since I was a kid. And he was just living in a house with all these people. And we had a night kind of just like or I was just playing guitar and other people were
just hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just, and I know that the song that I played, which is like a random like murder ballad I wrote like so long ago, and just for fun, just because I thought it was like funny, and I was like, I'm gonna write a murder ballad.
Yeah.
And it just really like nobody talked, and it was just silent, and it just felt so
You had them. Yeah.
And yeah, it was just funny, and I don't know, I went back home and
You're like, I'm a front
quit,
woman.
I quit everything.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
I mean, I was staying at home, so, you know, it wasn't too big of a jump to quit stuff. And kind of just from then on, just started trying to write a bunch of songs and
Amazing.
did some little, you know, like songwriter programs or stuff and tried to meet people. And,
So thank you, Seattle.
yeah, that was really random.
Wow.
It's funny that you said that because I don't even like think that I had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
But when I think about that,
Absolutely.
it's just, like,
You made people feel, you know, you were fulfilled.
Yeah.
It was a moment.
it was really random. Yeah, thank you, Seattle. Thank you, my friend Ian, who's like
Yeah.
my best
And you were in peace. Sometimes in New York, like, or big cities when you're like hustling and everything,
Yeah.
you're just like, go, go, go. You don't have a time to kind of like.
Yeah, I think that too. I think I'd truly like never really been one to like let myself be and really think about stuff. It was just very action oriented.
Sure.
And I think the minute I could just kind of not have that. And the same with here, the songs on Kill My Time are all songs I wrote during COVID.
Yeah.
So I had moved here January 2020, and then I really just moved here saying, I'll do whatever. I'll write with so and so, or you know, I'll just try. And I knew like barely anyone, but anyone I did know, I was like, can I write with you? Or can you introduce me to someone to write with? And it was great to have that kind of fervor and passion, but it was and there's just no direction to it really.
Sure.
And so I think when the pandemic happened, and because I didn't really know anyone and I was living alone, I was really just alone with my thoughts.
Wow.
I got to think about what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it and kind of what style of guitar I wanted to implement. You know, I got to think about everything.
Yeah.
And I really felt if I don't come out of this with a project, I don't know when I'm going to do it.
Right.
If I don't kind of confront these things within myself now and work on it now.
Yeah. Well, so glad you did. And you definitely found it.
Yeah.
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 And
So to circle back, I was super shocked that people cared about
yeah.
that project.
Oh, well, thanks for that tangible. It's yeah. I mean, it's great, and it's incredible that you started writing songs kind of like so. I mean, like later in life, because wow, like not many do it as well as you. I think it's a gift for sure. I think you're gonna play for us, and we're super thrilled. Let me leave you with this. Just ask you about that collaboration you did with Larkin O'Reilly.
Yes.
Specifically, not just the collaboration itself, but just like how was it to like not be a solo artist for a minute?
Yeah.
I kind of like that dynamic.
Oh my gosh, it was so incredible. Larkin is just one of those people that is just creatively was just, I felt like such a champion of mine early on, and we just get along so well, and he's just such an incredible guitar player and writer that it was just really inspiring to have that, to just to so early on feel like other people want to work with you and other people are inspired by what you do and other people can inspire you. I think it just kind of, it happened. I got to work on that right after Kill My Time. Which again, like I said, was super, it was in isolation.
Sure.
The writing of it. And, both of us wrote a lot of songs for this project, and we kind of did this little thing where we just did 5 songs in 5 days, and he was living in New York, I was in Nashville, so we were just kind of, like uploading them to a SoundCloud at the end of every day and listening and chatting back and forth about it. But it was really, really inspiring to just work with someone who I think is just like one of the best of the game. And I'm just so inspired always by what he does musically and where he's going. And I think it was I'd always been really, and he was based in Dublin now, and I've always been really inspired by a lot of music in Ireland.
Sure.
And just like a folk tradition. And so I think it was cool to work with someone who felt very similarly to me, where we both really love, like we have a reverence for traditional music and traditional ballads and just kind of this, you know, real storytelling and just songs from 400 years ago. Like
Right.
we both love that. But then we write very modern and very literally, and trying and just incorporate humor and a lot of mundane aspects of life in it. So it felt really cool, where I don't really feel like there's that many people who I feel like I have that exact same kind of
Connection with? Yeah.
the same kind of prioritizing.
Prioritize, right.
I don't even know if just, oh, you know, we love this, but we're going to do it this way.
Yeah.
You know? So it was just really...
And a good step, you know, coming out of 2020 into like Nashville, that is so collaborative. I think it was great for you. So
Oh, yeah. It was wonderful. It was, I hadn't had much experience with
exactly.
collaboration, and I want to have more with it, you know, but it's there's definitely like, before you collaborate, I feel like sometimes there's work you need to do on yourself and your craft. Like, know who you are.
That's interesting.
As an artist, and then say, this is what I'm bringing.
Almost like a relationship. Like you want to like come as your best self, right? Because a little bit something like that.
Exactly.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Where you're like, there's so much, you want to know who you are before you show up to something. But then again, there's also so much, there's only so much you can heal by yourself. And so much that you kind of need other people to teach you.
Wow, Melanie. Wow. Well, yeah, before you play, tell us a little bit about you know, the project that you have coming up. Like, you know, the new single is part of something bigger. What's going on here?
Yes. So I had the single Heaven Is coming out, and I have one called Get It Back coming out on August 8th.
Okay. So it'll be out by the time this is out.
Yes. So I basically, I wanted to do, again, I think I'm still kind of, you know, stuck a little bit in that dark feedback loop I was talking about before, where your thoughts are definitely, they're darker, but I think it's kind of transitioned to the point where it's been a lot, like, there's a lot more humor in it too.
Sure.
And levity. And I think after touring a bunch, because I did a lot of solo dates. I did the tour with Lorcan, and then I did touring this January.
Yeah, you toured quite a bit.
Yeah, for Charlie's Story. That was super inspiring. And I think seeing that, I really just wanted to do something that felt more upbeat, and maybe where I could incorporate more of a full band sound for certain shows.
Right.
Because I feel like I feel like I have a handle on me and my guitar go somewhere, do a song, and I wanted to push myself and kind of do something that felt like it could, you know, be a different kind of performance, and I could bring a different kind of energy to it.
Amazing.
So sonically, I really wanted to get into that kind of territory. So the songs feel bigger for sure. Even just I was working on something yesterday, recording, and I was thinking, like, this is the biggest song I've ever done. You know, just the biggest drums, the biggest arc of anything, and it's really overwhelming in a really beautiful way. But yeah, I think the project definitely talks a lot about grief, but not overly. I think it's I think I just try to take the veil off of it and like just be a little bit literal with it, you know?
Sure.
I think sometimes it's there's so much mystery and so much spirituality around it, and sometimes you just kind of get to this point where you're like, I don't know if that's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
You know, I don't necessarily know if I feel like the poetry in it the way that I used to when it was so abstract.
Right. Interesting. I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Of course, yeah. I'm super excited. It'll be
amazing.
There'll be a bunch of, by the time this is out, there'll be a couple more songs.
Can't wait. Can't wait. I mean, they say Nashville's a 10-year town, as you know, and you're going on year 5, and you're right on track because you are, I mean, we're buying all our stock in you, basically. You're amazing. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, if you want to take us over with a song, I think we'd be so honored and grateful.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I'd love
Cool.
to. Okay, this is Summer in Sweden. Getting lost in the wild blue yonder, in the solace of my favorite author. Sky is bending with a twist in the ending. Life is heaven sent, life is heaven sending. Been okay since you came around. See love that I'm swimming now. See the light and I don't know how. Staying up and sleeping late. Getting tan and gaining weight. Walking arm in arm like there's nothing that could harm us if it tried. Ooh, you're the one for me. Count to 10, run and hide. See if you can find me. K-S-S-I-N-G, bottle in my hand, underneath the dogwood tree. Feels like summer in Sweden. Feels like an endless feeling. Feels like it's never leaving. But I know the sun will set. There'll be a darkness yet. What's a girl to do but make a choice and see it through? Do you remember what you said to me on a bus seat next to that girl asleep with her hand in a bucket of KFC? 'Cause I don't remember a thing, unless that thing is funny to me. But you weren't being funny. I thought maybe he could love me if we tried. Ooh, you're the one for me. Summer's coming on, and I don't wanna leave. Ooh, catching fever dreams and joys as they flicker through my skull, out my teeth to join the stars. Bought a book by Sinead O'Connor. I stained the pages and stared out at the water. I took a note when she said that songs are ghosts. Guess if anybody knows, she knows, and I'm gonna take her word for it. Gonna say goodbye and be okay with it. Gonna give my life to a lost cause. Gonna give what is to what once was. 'Cause every time I write a song, it lives, but it don't live long. Just hangs around forever, even though the life I gave it is all gone.
Unbelievable. My chills have chills. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here for the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from J-Rod Concert Media.